Hi everybody, I'm going to do a deck tech for my tournament deck from 2 tournaments ago, which was a Creatures-Potions-Transfiguration mid-rangey kind of deck. So I want to walk through kind of my thought process behind why the cards that are in it, talk about the sideboard a little bit, and then I also want to talk about some updates I've made since, and those were learned based on what happened in the tournament and what I thought needed to change because of that. So I'm going to start with where the deck actually started from, and that was from this card right here, Squid Tentacles, and the entire point of the deck was I wanted to build a deck that I could run tentacles in, and essentially what it does is when it's either played or discarded from play, you can put a potion lesson from your hand or discard pile into play. So that was kind of the entire point of the deck, play this card. So then I started thinking, well, what goes around this card? And obviously it's going to be potions and creature cards. So I started filling up the deck with some other stuff. For example, my high-end card to kind of win was Welsh Green Dragon, which is just a really great creature card overall. It's super powerful. It's a great high-end card. So that was kind of where I wanted to go to at the end of everything. And then I threw in other stuff that I thought just kind of helped with the whole mid-range idea, where I wasn't going super aggro, but I also wasn't waiting for this long drawn out game. So I did stuff like Pet Cat, comes down super early and essentially helps filter through cards in your deck. So draw and discard. Crookshanks, which came in clutch a couple of times to disrupt my opponent's hand. And once in a while, I use it to draw new cards in my own hand. Then I have stuff like Gargoyle, which is just a very traditional creature aggro kind of thing. I had the Monster Book of Monsters thinking I needed just creatures that did damage as well as provided some other kind of value, and this provided a power. Came in handy maybe one of the games. Otherwise, it wasn't a super necessary card. The last 3 creatures I ran main deck were Hedwig, because Hedwig's just really, really good to get stuff back. Bundimun to help deal with my opponent's items in play. Again, I wanted creatures that did damage, but also kind of attacked my opponent in some other kind of way. And then finally, Cornish Pixie. And Pixie is just a phenomenal card from Heir of Slytherin. It lets you look at your opponent's hand and tuck a card under it until Pixie leaves play. That card came in clutch so many times, because if you can disrupt that one card your opponent needs to stop them from being able to win, you can do so much and your game plan gets so much better. So Pixie, really, really great card. Honestly, could have played 4 copies. I only played 3 copies, but Pixie was just wonderful. Outside of that, I went into some of the potion cards. So I had Holidays with Hags, thinking I would need to get back some potion lessons. This was a mistake. I played Azkaban because I think every deck should run one of these, just so when you get in that back and forth kind of thing with your opponent, they play theirs, you play yours, it goes back and forth. Azkaban, I thought I was going to actually run Chamber of Secrets, and then I think I ran Azkaban instead. I think Chamber is in my sideboard, mainly because I think Azkaban had more power up front, whereas Chamber was more specific against a very specific kind of deck. So Azkaban, I think, is the better choice. I ran Malevolent Mixture because it's just my favorite potions card, one of my top cards ever. I think it's just really great, and it comes out of nowhere, and that 10 damage out of nowhere can win you games. It won me some games, which was great. 12 years in Azkaban is one of the best events in the game. It prevents damage and then turns into ramp later game, and that artwork is just phenomenal, so I played that. And then I mainboard Mis-Brewed Polyjuice. I think this is one of the most underrated potion cards. It can shut off, at the bare minimum, does 1 damage and shuts off your opponent's starter for a turn. That by itself, I think, is fantastic. More than that, it won me one of the games. I think it did 20 damage in 1 turn. I played against the character deck, and it just wrecked them. So Mis-Brewed Polyjuice, really great card. If I'm running potions, I almost always have at least 2 main deck. And then that was it for my potions cards that I had main deck. But the issue was I was sitting here, and I think I had more when I was building the deck, and I didn't know what to run as the starter. So I kind of sat here and I thought, well, do I run Professor Snape because he provides a potion? Do I run whatever other starter I might have thought at the time because of whatever reasons? And then I thought, well, one of the things that is going to be really difficult to deal with are items, because I really just have 1 creature that can deal with them. So I thought, well, let's just run McGonagall. Just provides so much value between removing an adventure for free, which oftentimes removing one is all you need, unless you're playing against like a Fred and George deck. And then providing 1 power is also really strong. Even though it's in Transfiguration, that's fine. It's still 1 generic power for everything else, but it also allows me to play stuff like Drawing with the Sword, which helps me get rid of my opponent's creatures. It also allows me to play stuff like Stairs into Slides, which is one of the best cards that we have to get rid of things on your opponent's side right now. So those 2 inclusions were the only transfig cards, but they really did a lot. Other than that, I ran 23 lessons. One of them was a fetch, so I could fetch the Transfiguration lesson in case my starter was cut off. And then I ran 2 Through the Arches. I usually mainboard either 2 Through the Arches or 2 Privet Drives or 2 Hiding from Snapes. Just something that will generically stop your opponent's spells or items, because those tend to be the 2 card types that you need to stop the most because they just make up the most decks. I sometimes run like In the Stands or something for creatures, but because of Drawing the Sword, I thought I don't really need to worry about that. So that was my main deck. Again, the plan was just to get some stuff in play in terms of creatures, and then kind of slow the game down enough with 12 Years, Azkaban, so that I could then play Welsh Green and then win with Welsh Green. So that was kind of the game plan. It worked really well. This particular tournament I won. First tournament I have won, so this deck I guess did super well, and I'm super proud of that. In the sideboard, we have some other stuff here. So this is kind of, I'm not good at sideboards. I'll just kind of start by saying that. But I think Chamber of Secrets should be ran in most potion decks because shutting off your opponent's access to their discard pile, incredibly strong. Very good play, shuts off quite a few decks, quite a few cards, stops them from being able to get back cards after you do the creature damage. Really, really great card. So I would swap this in for Azkaban if I was playing like a recursion deck, like a love potion deck or something like that. Then for the adventures, I played 2 more Through the Arches because stopping spells ended up coming in clutch and helped me win one of the games. And then Hiding from Snape, just again, generically strong against items. But I also ran Table Trouble in my sideboard, and that was so I could get rid of items as well. So the sideboard is where I really relied on the whole item stuff to kind of like destroy them. And then I ran 3 Drawing the Swords because Drawing the Sword is just a great card if you're playing a Gryffindor to remove creatures. And then Tents Ablaze, again, I was testing this. I didn't get the chance to because there just weren't a lot of item decks, but I wanted to see how well this card could do against items. So it was in there, never played it, never sideboarded it in, but it's here. And then I ran 2 Dementors because getting rid of characters is incredibly difficult. And I just wanted to have some kind of tech for a character deck. Since the tournament, I really like this deck. I think it ran really, really well. I might increase the lesson count by 1, but that's probably the only change I would do with lessons. In terms of other cards, you could swap in my starter for Snape or something else if you wanted to, and then just swap out Drawing the Sword as well as Stairs into Slides. But since the tournament, I have taken out the Holidays with Hags because there is no point to having it in there. And I put in 2 double-ended newts. This fulfilled, somebody I played against actually played this, and this fulfilled that desire I had to have creatures that do damage themselves, but then also fill a gap with my deck, and the gap was dealing with creatures. I also, since the tournament, have been test playing Delight of the Death Eaters a little more. I have really started to like this card. Finding cards that are really flexible in non-transfiguration colors that can remove more than one type of card is a banger of a card. So 2 damage to yourself is whatever, but getting to remove an opponent's character, item, or event, super flexible. I think this card should have been in the deck originally, and now it's in there. So I'll let you guys know in the future or duel me at some point, and we can see how well this card does. But I put 2 of those in. And to fit 2 of those in, I actually removed the Monster Book of Monsters and 1 Crookshanks. The Monster Book of Monsters, I don't think I need that little bit of ramp that it provides. So I just said, I'll get rid of this. And then it's also vulnerable to both creature and item destruction. And then I removed 1 Crookshanks, which is probably not right. I should probably still run 2 because it's such a good card. But that was what I decided. And then in my sideboard, I removed 1 Through the Arch, because I have Azkaban and more in my main deck. And then I also removed 1 Drawing with a Sword, again, because of the new addition. And then what I ended up adding in was I added in Riddle House. So the issue I actually ran into was that one of the decks I played against searched their deck a lot, and I had no way to stop that, and that's how the deck was ramping and doing super well. So I thought to myself, I need some sideboard tech against this, and there's just really not good sideboard tech for stopping your opponent from searching their deck. This was the best thing. I'm already in potions. This is similar to me to like a Chamber of Secrets or Azkaban, where I can kind of swap them out based on the deck, and I can do what I need to do. I have not test played Riddle House yet, but I think it's going to be a really, really great card, and we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so this was my deck tech from my winning deck a tournament ago. I hope this gives you guys some inspiration for decks to build. You can find the entire deck list on the Harry Potter website and join us on Discord to chat more about decks.